Right, definitely your cue that it is in Focus O'Clock. Time for yet another interesting conversation right on the program. Every week, that is definitely what we do. Our business is just to bring on the table some of the various topical issues, just to try and make sense out of them, create a platform where we can actually open up and talk about these issues, agree to disagree sometimes. And of course, today on the program, we're going to be having a very great conversation, I'm sure. But as always, my name is Eugene Anangwe. It's very simple. You want to be part of this conversation, get onto your social media networks, and that is Twitter, for example, hashtag InFocusRW. We'll be able to find out what you think about the topic that we're talking about today. And it has to do with one of the things that had made headlines across the country for a couple of days. Of course, many people are talking about it, and it is time for us to also have this conversation. And of course, it's a question I want to know from you. When you talk to your friends, when you talk to your relatives, or even if it is you yourself, what sort of decisions or sort of reasons do you give yourself, or do those people you talk to tell you as far as their decision to actually whiten, some people call it skin toning, or bleach their skins? And of course, I want to know from you if you agree that this particular issue should now be considered as a national issue, and of course what you think the gaps are in actually dealing with this particular issue. That is what we want to know from you. And of course, this particular issue has emanated from one tweet that actually came up from a good friend of ours. Of course, she did actually say that I think Rwanda Standards Board and the Ministry of Health should start a campaign against skin bleaching, a big one, because this is getting out of hand. This is definitely what she had actually said. There were a couple of reactions that actually came up, and of course it actually did interest the citizen number one, the president of the country himself, and he did actually tweet this November 25th. He did actually come and actually respond to one of the response to that particular tweet, and he did say that quite unhealthy, among other things, includes use of prohibited chemicals. Ministry of Health and the Rwanda National Police need to rein this in very quickly. Of course, there have been some reactions, there's some stories that have also started coming out of this. November 25th, the New Times did report that Rwanda National Police and the Ministry of Health are actually set to mount a joint operation against sale and distribution of banned skin lightening cream. The move follows widespread public concerns on the growing use of skin bleaching chemicals. This has actually raised a bit of concern. Some people have actually been saying that what or where have they been to actually launch this kind of a campaign? Does it emanate from what the president did say? And of course, that's what we'll also be trying to understand from our panelists right here. So there are people who have also been reacting to this particular issue, and they've been sending in their thoughts, some saying that it's a psychological issue. Some have actually been saying that it emanates from way back when we were actually growing, and even during the pre-colonial times. Kakizi says that some do it because many men consider light-skinned girls more beautiful. Colonial mentality. And since girls have been taught that marriage is the goal and answer to all the problems, they are ready to do anything to please men. Teach girls self-love, to value their intelligence and hard work. Do you agree? Is this one of the reasons as to why people are bleaching? I want us to start talking, and also as you switch or tweet some of the reasons why you think people are actually whitening their skins, tell us some of the solutions, the possible solutions that you think can be able to deal with this particular issue. Let's bring in our panelists right about now. In the program, we have none other than Joseph Kabatende, Food and Drug Authority. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Also with us is Dr. Alice Uwajeni, who's actually a dermatologist. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
And with us also, we've brought on the table a psychologist, Dr. Jean Damascene. Thank you for making time and joining us on the program. And also is Philip Nzaire, who's actually in charge of quality assurance at the Rwanda Standards Board. Thank you so much all for joining us. I want to start right here with you, Joseph, because you sit next to me right here. I want to hear your thoughts. First of all, people have been actually claiming that there is now an awakening within the bodies that were actually supposed to have actually reined in on this issue way before, just because the head of state did actually say something about this. I want to read your thoughts, first of all, towards these particular claims. Is this true? Not true?
Eugene, thank you very much for inviting us to share our thoughts. And indeed, yes, the tweet was responding to one of the complaints. And I may not be able to say it's true or not true, but what I can say is that we have been doing this quite a long time. But of course, as you know, this is an emerging issue that we need to continuously work on it. So I remember in 2014 we worked on it again, and we issued a joint communique with ministries involved: Ministry of Agriculture, Minalok, by then Minentel, Rwanda National Police, you know, Rwanda Revenue Authority, RSB, cautioning people, even inviting local authorities to work to work with communities to make sure
2014.
2014. Again, in 2016, the ministry issued a ministerial order also highlighting the prohibited cosmetics and also those that can be used upon authorization. There are some which we use in medical field. So I believe we have been, you know, working on it, but it is getting another level. So and that's why the institutions are teaming up to be able to fight or to crack on it. I remember we have been working with the National Police on different operations. The one we call Mamba 1, 2, the Fajia operations. All those operations were just cracking up down all these issues. So again, the Twitter came as awakening, and we have teamed up as institutions responsible for that. Rwanda Food Drug and Authority, Rwanda National Police, RSB, the Rwanda Investigation Bureau. They are now. We are teaming up as one team to make sure that we are cracking out this
on this particular issue. I'm going to jump direct to the far end and talk to Philip, because before we move to probably talk more about this particular issue, I just want us to clear the air on whether these key institutions that people really rely on to actually for protection and safety issues as far as consumption of various things that we consume are concerned. Some people argue that based on what is now happening, you're sort of a reactory kind of organization, that you react upon, you know, when something happens. This is when everybody now comes out and says, now we're going to team up and deal with this issue. Are you able to refute these claims, or are you able to also say that this is true?
Thank you very much, Anangwe. I first want to apologize to the audience that my voice is not very clear. However, I think I'll be heard. First of all, I want to recognize that this is a national issue. Indeed, it is a national issue. It concerns the health and safety of the population, the users. As Rwanda Standards Board, even before it was a Standards Board, before it was the Rwanda Bureau of Standards, we issued a statement banning particular consignments containing, actually, articles containing hydroquinone, mercury, and other contaminants in cosmetic products. The notice was on RBS website by then. We conducted awareness programs targeting the users. Recently, we had an awareness campaign on cosmetology. The users, the media, the local government leaders, the producers. So,
where did this happen recently? When, where?
It was in various districts. I think I can highlight some of them. The target audience, like I said, was the operators, the regulators, the local leaders, especially vice mayors in charge of economic affairs, the representatives from business development centers, directors in charge of public health units, directors in charge of social affairs and hygiene at district levels. The coverage was Kigali, Rwamagana, Musanze, Rubavu, Rusizi, Huye, and Musanze.
And what message were you telling them? What was the message that was being passed on here?
The message was very clear. How the public must protect themselves against these products that are claimed to be beautifying, whereas they are actually killing people.
So the public is the one that was supposed to protect themselves?
Yes.
But then the question is, where is RSB that is actually supposed to look at the quality assurance matters before even this public gets access to these materials that are already in the country?
Yes, I was detailing the methodology we are using. First of all, public awareness, then put legal instruments, which my colleague Joseph has tackled. The legal instruments are like the ministerial instruction, regulating restricted products, and also prohibited products in cosmetic products, cosmetics. And also the standards per se. Standards, we have different standards detailing the levels of particular elements that must contain in cosmetics and what must not contain, must not be in cosmetics.
Yeah.
So the standards are there. Testing, we've been sampling, ever since we've been sampling products. How we determine that this product contains hydroquinone is because we've tested it. So we have results for samples we tested and found actually some of them, although they were not even marked as containing hydroquinone, but somehow we found hydroquinone content higher than that regulated by the legal instruments.
Amount needed. I want to bring in, first of all, before you go on, Dr. Alice, while you're listening to this, the opening questions, the opening response, RSSB says that they've actually been doing a lot of sampling. I'm told here that there's been also a lot of awareness creation. Even before you now talk about your area expertise of actually looking at our skins and the health of our skins, if this is a national issue, and listening to what the two speakers have already said right now, do you sense a feeling of failure to protect the citizens? Because it first starts with being able to access this lotions, if it is lotion. And we have institutions that are supposed to actually ensure that this kind of products do not get to the market. And that means they have been making it to the market. First of all, before getting into your own expertise, do you see a sense of failure by these institutions to protect citizens in that sense?
Thank you, Eugene. I will not say that this was a failure. In a way, I know something has been done. Our people knows that, they know very well that hydroquinone is something killing their skin. So they tell you, so when you ask which kind of cream are you applying, no, it doesn't have hydroquinone, meaning they know already that hydroquinone is something bad for their skin health and so on. So they are aware. But this is behavior changing. So from 2014 to now, saying that the campaign have been happening from one side to one side, and the kind of people, at least they are aware of some of this product being not good to their health, is some step. Of course, there is still a long way to go.
Right.
Behavior changing is a process. Yeah.
And so probably if you look at it from that sense of being aware, there's one thing being aware and the availability of that particular product. That's what I'm trying to push here. That's what I'm trying to understand here from your own opinion. Do you sense a feeling that enough is not being done to ensure that these products are not available in the market?
Enough somehow, but still a long way. So starting for what is being done, having banned out some products from entering the country, having put some rules, laws and regulation for registering and testing some of these products, it's something done. But of course, since we need to reach 100% of coverage, 100% of our population not using this, not accessing them, and not forgetting also business side of our population who are making money from this. So they use many shortcuts, though they are aware, they need also to survive. So there are socio-economic understanding, many behaviors need to be targeted to achieve all this, and it's still a way to go, but a little have been done. We need to push up.
We need to push the envelope a bit further. Dr. Damasen, some people have actually said that this is it's a psychological issue, because someone is born black and beautiful, but then they end up deciding to want to be white or to have a lighter skin tone. Share with us where you stand as a psychologist, where psychology comes in for someone to actually decide and say that, you know what, I don't like the way I look, I want to look different, and I want to take this kind of skin tone as my new skin tone.
Thank you very much. The psychological issue is come up before the people decided to skin lighting.
Yeah.
Even after. Why people decide to change their skin is because they are not satisfied of their skin. They are not happy of their body. So obviously there is a psychological problem. They feel like they are lacking something, so that they want to change their skin. But also after they light the skin, it's because they're born black, they will not be happy. Then they want to lose the color to replace the white by the black. So they obviously they will lose. It's like they are losing the part of their body. They will obviously have psychological consequence. Meaning lighting, there is the psychological causes and the psychological consequences.
Right. So during the process of someone getting to that level where they decide that I want to look for a product that will change my skin color, take us through what would be running through their minds, psychologically speaking.
First of all, it's because those people, there is a lack of self-esteem. Self-esteem meaning that they are not confident of them. So in their mind, they are incomplete. If they are incomplete, they think if they change, they will feel what they are lacking. That is how the psychological component.
It actually works in that sense.
Coming to the first question.
Yeah.
Even you didn't ask me. I'm feeling because even those people who are protecting people, I don't know if they already know this issue is harming psychologically people, because when they do, everything is done because we are concerned by physical health, but when it comes to mental health, many people, even authorities, there is not much done in that area, because I believe no one, there is no enough awareness in the population or on the side of authorities.
Right.
There is much need to be done, so that people, they know this can also harm psychologically people, not only skin, not only physical, but psychologically this can harm individual and even families.
So in your opinion, right now we are seeing that there is a plan to actually crack down on those people who are actually selling these products. There is a campaign to actually go down and search, and if they find them, probably they will be able to jail some people and do all those things. Do you see this as the solution? Where should we start when we say that we want to deal with this issue? Where should we be starting from?
I think we can start by the beginning or the end, depending what you want. But first of all, you should stop. You should stop the production or banning those things, and stop those products which are entering the country, and then educate the people. Educate their mind, so that they can be happy of what they are, and to be happy of your body. It's not to start when you are adult, it just starts when in childhood.
Right.
Meaning, we will also need to educate parents so that we will know how to be a good parent, so we can educate our children to
from
be
the early age.
Yes,
Right.
from the early age.
Joseph, I want to come back to you. How do you deal with this then? Because there seems to have been a lot of campaigns, as you mentioned earlier on. We heard from Philip saying that we have measures, we have standards set. Dr. Elisa has spoken about a few people who go to a clinic and they say that I know that product I'm using does not have those chemicals. So seemingly we have people who are aware of what they are doing. So at the end of the day, how then do we deal with this? Are you trying to give up and say, you know what, we've done what we're supposed to do, and the rest now it's up to you?
No. I think we're not giving up. What we are trying to do now is that, as you are aware, we have now established the Rwanda Food and Drug Authority that is in charge of regulating all aspects related to such products. And what we're going to do urgently is to make sure that every product entering the country is listed or registered, to make sure that at least we know which product are coming in the country, what ingredients they contain, and then we automate our systems, and also equipping all port of entries with the inspectors to make sure that they verify whatever comes into the country. And of course, we'll be doing also the testing.
Right. So before you go further, this Food and Drug Authority, when was it put up?
It was gazetted in 2018.
2018.
February, by the law 00 number 3 of 2018. It is mandated to regulate both the human and veterinary medicines, vaccines, biologicals, cosmetics, food, processed foods, poisonous products, herbal drugs, and also regulate clinical trials. And,
right. So until now, since February, we are almost ending the year, you have not been able to do what you say it will be able to do. We do not know the substances that are coming in.
We've been doing it with support of RSP, and as you know, when an institution is gazetted, then there are other structures to be put in place. Like, if I may say, the last cabinet appointed some of the key personnel. So now we're working on modalities on how we properly operationalize the agency to be able to start recruiting staffs into to be pressed on the port of entries, to be able to continuously verify what comes into the country and what goes out of the country. And of course, taking samples to test and verify whether the products are of quality and safe for.
So what you're saying is the viewer watching us right now can uncomfortably say that the institution that is supposed to verify, check, and ensure that every product entering the country is of good standards in terms of the chemical content and all that, is not able to do that because it is still in the process of structuring itself and taking up its official mandate. Is this what you're trying to tell the public?
No, we are doing it, but not enough as we want to do it. So we are setting up systems to make sure that the products are properly regulated. So, and that's why we are now teaming up with other institutions that we do all the regulation and the crackdown of these illegal products.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me jump again back to Philip. Philip, if I was to ask you right now to either deny or accept that as we speak right now, we have some of these illegal products or these products with illegal chemicals in the shelves of our retail shops, would you confirm or would you say no, it is not true, they're not there?
Well, thank you. I do confirm they do exist. But this is why the operations are going on. If they were not existing, actually these mobile teams will not be working now. Right now we say all the team is on the field, countrywide, not only in Kigali. So they are there because of the products that have infiltrated the country through illegal porous borders, but they are there.
So why have they made it into the country? These porous borders, why do they exist when we have all systems that are supposed to actually deal with them?
You know, the geographical boundaries of Rwanda, there are no really physical barriers that would hinder someone crossing the border. So across the country, someone comes with a carton or two. There is no official border. He just crosses with the carton. He knows who the dealer is in Rwanda. We just find the product in the country illegally. So that's why this illegal trade, first of all, it is informal, it is illegal. So that's why the operations are on. And like Joseph said, the target is enforcing the institution to have the mandates complied with, to actually start filling the gap, personnel gap, so that once the gap is filled, there is market surveillance operations, there are border operations. Mostly that's where the issues are.
Yeah. Someone listening would be thinking and saying that this is a battle for you to lose. Because one, you've spoken about some of the institutional gaps. You've spoken about the porous borders where people are actually all moving in a way that they want. Why do you think this is a battle that Rwanda is going to win?
Determination, provision of resources, government commitment. Obviously, we have to win this game.
You wanted to jump in?
Yeah, I wanted to just add on. You know, the commitment the government has by establishing these key institutions is a testimony that we are for the fight of this issue. So I believe once the institutions are, equipped and we are able to operate, then we're able to handle this issue.
Yeah, but people will be thinking that yes, the institutions are there just by name, in a sense, but then when it comes to acting, they have not been able to do this, and that is why this thing has reached this magnitude to a point where even the head of state himself is actually talking about it.
I don't believe so that the institutions were there for by name, because as I told you, the institution responsible and mandated to do this is just a new agency that is, getting it to starting. So I believe we are starting to fight this issue, and it is going to be
dealt with. This is not a battle for you to lose.
Yes, we have the will, we have the capability, we have the government support, and I think we will do it.
Dr. Elias, you wanted to point out something?
Yeah, I wanted to add that not only government, but individual awareness also should be TV, radio, social media, everything. When visiting a clinic, since the doctors, clinicians are aware of this side effect, just continuing the campaign, every person, every population who is met is told about this. I think the mind gonna change.
It is going to change. Yeah, but then one more thing that is interesting is that people have been tweeting, people have been actually giving their comments on this, and some people have actually been saying that this is not an issue for government to put its hand in or to poke its nose in. It's someone's decision. If someone says, I want to look like this, it is up to them to decide what they want to do with themselves. And so government should deal with other major things and leave this issue of people's personalities and how they want to be to themselves. I mean, let me read your thoughts on that, first of all.
Yuji, this is really an issue with those who are saying it. They say it because they are not aware of the side effect. If we go to clinical side effects of bleaching products which are available here, it's a global issue. If you look in Asia, people are using it. Looking in Africa, some countries like Nigeria, they use them. They have reported side effect. 3 patients out of 10 we see in our clinic are coming with side effect. This is known by those 3 people who are reaching us, but probably not known by their relatives. So making awareness campaign to these people whom we meet daily, by you as a social media, someone as a clinician, someone as a mayor, vice mayor, social affairs, everyone talking about this will somehow target those big gaps which are not closed, and indeed these people who think it's just government forgetting serious issue will know how serious is the problem or the matter. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
You want to say something?
I want to
hold it.
I wanted.
We're going to take a very short break, and when we come back, we'll definitely pick up from you. I see also Philip wants to jump in on this, and of course our good psychologist also here, ready to jump on that. But we're going to take a very short break. Of course, when we come back, I want us to digest some of these things that we've been able to hear on the program. Do you agree that this is an issue that is a personal issue, and so government should not poke its nose in there? Or do you also agree that the institutions that are in charge of actually ensuring that we are protected and safe, from actually accessing these products are actually sleeping on the job? I want to read your thoughts on that as well. And then let's also move forward. What do we do about this as far as dealing with this particular issue is concerned? When we come back, we'll be moving that conversation forward. So do stay with us. Right, welcome back. Thank you so much for still being with us. This is In Focus. My name, as always, is Eugene Anangwe. On the program, we're talking about the issue of skin whitening. Call it how you want to, but of course, it's something that has come, and of course, we want to just get some sense out of it and why people do it, and of course, what needs to be done to actually deal with this particular issue. We have Joseph Kawatende, who's from the Food and Drug Authority. We have Dr. Elise Uwajeni, who's actually a dermatologist, and Dr. Jean Damascene, a psychologist, and Philip Zaire from RSB, Quality Assurance. Now, before we went for the break, we were definitely looking at some of the reasons and whether this issue should be a personal issue or it should be something that the state can or should intervene. Joseph, you wanted to jump in. You wanted to share your thoughts on this and why you feel this is not something that the state should keep off.
Thank you, Anangwe. I think people who are writing that is their opinion. But I believe government has the responsibility to protect its citizen because that is the most resource we have. So we cannot just afford to see people, breaching themselves, dying of these diseases, and we wait. So I believe the government is very right to involve and try to prevent this and sensitize citizens, but also put stringent measures to fight it and eliminate this issue of using these products that are prohibited.
So as you sit across this side and Philip of Rwanda Standards Board sits there, what would you want to tell him as an institution to another institution when dealing with this issue?
I would just like to tell him that we need to just work together and make sure that we fight this and be able to protect our citizens.
Philip, Joseph seems to feel that the level of working together is not enough as far as institutions are concerned.
No, he stresses that the teamwork should continue.
Teamwork, yes.
And I also want to believe in him that we have always worked in teamwork. It has yielded results which are better than dealing when we are alone. At the border side, we've been dealing with these issues. We've been having a number of reports containing rejected consignments of cosmetics because of they contain hydroquinone and other elements that are prohibited. But when it comes to the country within, it requires a wider approach with a bigger team. On board, since we have the medical team now, it's actually better than the way we've been dealing with, because they are tackling the health effects, the psychological effects, the clinical effects. So bringing in a wider team is better than
working on your own. Aren't you worried? Because people have been saying that, you know what, those who have been using it and they still want to continue using these products will still continue using them regardless of the efforts that are going to be put, because one, if they were being bought from a container which is labeled and having those labels, they would remove those the substance and put them in, let's say, for example, Vaseline container, and when they are traveling, they would just travel with them as if it is just usual body lotion. And so how do you plan to deal with this? Because now it's getting more technical.
Sure. One of the ways we are dealing with is involving consumers themselves. Mm-hmm. They are the ones who actually they give us a hint on where these operations are conducted, where the mixing, the so-called mukorogo, is being conducted. So it's the consumers themselves coming up and showing where the evil is being conducted. So involvement of the consumer and consumer associations will yield better results.
Right. Let me bring again the psychologist here, because someone mentioned the role of men in this in the beginning of the program. Someone said that it is these men who are actually saying that in quotes they call them yellow, and they say that yellow is what we want, and so if you're not yellow, we will not love you. And so we find someone going and locking themselves in a room, and all of a sudden they want to turn from dark skin, chocolate skin to yellow. How do we then ensure that those who are actually pushing the rest to this particular direction stop that, if for lack of a better word, or for lack of a better expression?
First of all, let me. I would like to react on your question, saying that is this issue big enough to be tackled? For psychological perspective, this is even very big, because those people who do not like themselves, they're trying to kill themselves by removing the part of their body. We call it self-mutilation, meaning you harm yourself. If someone is harming himself or herself, it means he will be able to harm others, meaning is killing himself. We become, if we are not careful, those people, they are transforming in themselves as killers. If you are able to kill yourself, meaning you will be easily be able to kill others. Meaning
you can influence
we
them
are
to start
protecting them and protecting other population. That is why myself, I can say that is even very big. We need to take measures so that this issue can be stopped in a given time.
Talk to me about the men now, the role of the men, actually pushing the ladies to actually go to change their skin, because they feel
yes,
that is good.
You see, those ladies, when they try to whiten themselves, some of them, as I told you, they are lacking the self-esteem, and they want to be the desirable. And then those people, they are behind this issue. So it's like they are the cause of the problem. We are talking about women, but men, they are also concerned by this issue.
Right.
We needed to educate both sides, men and women.
And the women
sometimes, because we see those women, they are those who are buying those products and using them, but they wanted to be because those people they said they want beautiful women,
and beautiful in this case is light skinned. Dr. Ellis, talk to us from a medical point of view, because Dr. Jean Damascene says that most of these people who want to lighten their skin, they are looking for self-satisfaction because they're not satisfied of who they are and how they are as far as their skin is concerned. But others would argue and tell you that, yes, I was looking for that self-satisfaction from the dark skin that I had, and today I've found it. I look yellow, I look good, and I'm happy. Is there anything like that? Do you think that someone can actually whiten their skin and finally find that as satisfaction that they've been looking for?
Thank you, Yuji. I will first add something on what Damascene have been saying. It's really not a problem of female if we are considering that bleaching products are used for beautifying female and probably men are contributing. Really, this is not about a gender issue.
Yeah.
Some men are using it in our country, like also in neighboring countries, Tanzania, Uganda, Congo. So men are also using products, meaning it's not really the beautifying issue, looking for men appreciation or women appreciation. There is also somehow some triggering factors for them to use.
What are these triggering factors?
We are probably not proud of our skin, and this involves men and female. That's one. Number two, some diseases leaves skin colors like blackish spot. We know most of children, adolescents get acne, and this is something on the face. After this acne, they leave some dark spots
on their skin.
With this dark spot, your friend, your mother, your neighbor will tell you, try this product. It will clear this. Unfortunately, it cleared this, but the other skin is not cleared. So you still multicolor, tricolor. So the achievement or the beautifying or clearing some dark spot is not solved by this, indeed, but in a short time it is. Most are happy. So I've found the beauty I was looking for. But this long-term or short-term side effect will depend of individual to another individual. Some people within a week or 10 days of using this product, they already start to have side effect. They start now to get depressed. Oh, I was looking for this, now I lose everything. Some want to come back. Some others will require 10, 20 years to get side effect. And these are those long-term side effects, skin side effects like infections, atrophy of the skin, not appreciating them really at shorter or long time. No one is getting satisfied. They even come to complain, would you please help me to clear this? Now I'm tired, I don't want to come back. So jumping on the solution, we don't really have solution for those who have been using this product. You tell them you should stop, then we treat the side effects. Side effects are there. Some are hormones, some are drugs. So then they cause dependence, physical dependence, mental dependence. And this dependence, when you just stop the next morning, you get worse side effect. And this make a cycle. That one who was convinced to change cannot change. That one who appreciation coming from everywhere is lost will now go back to get some strong product. So it's a big cycle. And to approach this, when we meet these people with those side effects, the next point is to say, please stop where you are. You are not heading on a better profile. And side effects, when they are there, we can manage them psychologically, socially, clinically, whatever can be done. But somehow also alarming those who want to use them. There is no perfect solution for those who have been using them.
So when you see them telling you that, look at how bright I look now, that is just going to be short-lived. That is short-lived. And so now as this crackdown starts taking place, what happens to those who are now dependent on these products? What happens to them now? Are we putting them in more problems, or what do we do with them now?
These one who have been using this product, they need detoxification. They need detoxification. And this detoxification is a long process depending of what they are presenting. I can use them, get just infection. I use them, I get spots and spot. I use them, I get cancers. If you reach a level of cancers, nothing is going to be really stopped by then. But if you stop them, you are dependent. Hormones of your body have slowed down, then you are dependent on this. There is a drug, there are many drugs to be used to stop this side effect, to take you the process of getting used to stop this this toxic product. So
it's a very
there is a process. If they consult, unfortunately, they
most
consult friends.
They don't come to the medical experts.
And I want to add, when they are they are undergoing those kind of treatment of desintoxication, because we are stopping what they want, they will need obviously a psychological support so that they can accept that new state. One thing also I want to add, those people who are skin whitening, they are not white, they are not black, meaning they will have some kind of identity disorder, identity problems. They are no white, no black. So those are also psychological consequences, psychological effect of these things. And another thing is that because of this confusion, they become depressed, and some of them even they can commit suicide because of not being happy, and sometimes at a given time they want to be black when it is no longer possible to reverse. That is a problem which need really to have a kind of psychological assessment so that those people can be psychologically supported.
Supported, as I said. Before I go back to Philip and Joseph, while you're still on this, Dr. Jean Damascene, with this talk now going on social media, people are talking, media outlets are actually making reports on this. How do you think those people who have been undergoing this skin whitening process are feeling, and what sort of things do we need to be doing to them? Because I've seen some media outlets starting to make public some images of people who they feel have been, whitening their skin, putting before and after photos out there to the public. It sort of looks like naming and shaming. Do you think this is what we need as a nation as we deal with this now?
As you said, most of them, when they are doing those things, they are happy of themselves because they are getting what they want, even if it's not good. Meaning they are feeling discriminated or stigmatized. So, which also is creating a psychological problem. Meaning, when we are putting some strategy, campaign, and we should also think about how psychologically we can give information that can stabilize those people or psychologically.
Philip, as you work on this strategy, what do you have in store for this? Because today probably some of them even watching this show feel like they are the targeted ones. They're talking about us. We're feeling isolated. The media is looking for us. They're now digging through our past photos so that they can expose us and show how we used to look before and how we look today so that we can be named and shamed. What are you doing in line with that issue that Dr. Jean Damascene has spoken about for the psychological issues, or this is none of your business?
This is the business for all of us. We are concerned. We really feel that the private sector, the manufacturer, should come up with alternatives. Production of safe products should be available. Doctors should guide those users who feel they are now abandoned. Doctors should guide them on which products, safe products, they should go for. And actually, some level of counseling, and the users should also appreciate that they're not going again to consume a lot of money, which was another concept we've not dealt with, because these products take a lot of money. The consequences go to the entire family and to the nation. So if they are withdrawing the habits, I think they are somehow going to save for the families. So they should not feel that, the users should not feel that they are somehow harassed. Instead, they are being saved, the wider family is being saved of unnecessary expenses, and then they should seek medical advice.
Right.
In case of any side effects or withdraw.
Right. Yeah. Right. Joseph.
Yes.
What should we be doing to those who have already got themselves in this? And today people are talking about this issue and they're feeling uncomfortable. They're feeling, I don't want to watch that news that they're talking about that thing and I am part of those people who have been doing this. What should we be thinking about them? What should we be doing about them?
Thank you, Eugene. I think as Philip rightly said, that is the way to go. I think it's just to comfort them and of course sharing the pictures before and after. I don't think it's the right thing because we are now adding on stigmatization and making them, criminals instead of, comforting them, because government is doing this because we care about them. We don't want them to go into those traps and, acquire so many diseases connected to such whitening. So I believe they need counseling, they need to seek medical attention, to be guided properly, to be informed on how they can withdraw slowly from the use of those products. But also, as Filippo said, also there are alternatives. There are better products that can help them to be used and then that
to be used to whiten their skin.
No.
Because they withdraw. Let's make this clear.
No, not to whitening.
Yeah.
But to be used to withdraw from that. There are products, doctor said about it. They can treat them. They can accompany them, and I believe they will find it more relevant than bleaching themselves because we have our skins because that's how we were created to be. And I would also like to caution or to advise the people who are doing it, especially traders, that there are laws, there are instruments of law. The penal code provides for punishments of such acts, and also there are enforcement agencies that are in place. That whoever now just want to again go back to it again might
they should know that they will face the full force of the law.
Exactly.
Right.
So
right, Dr. Ellis, from a medical point of view, again, I'd like you to share with us, probably moving forward, what would be the simplest signs that anybody who doesn't have medical expertise would know that actually this product has skin whitening components? Because this is something that most of us are not privileged to know because we're not expertise in these areas. We might be buying these products thinking that this is just a usual product, only that it is actually causing those effects to us. What would be the simplest things that would advise our viewers to check so that they can be able to know that this actually has those components?
Yeah, first of all, they should check the product. So if we take a step of saying, let's all of us don't use product. First of all, in Rwanda, hydroquinone is banned. So they should not look for hydroquinone because these seller traders are also smart. They have changed the name. They use them: skin whitening, skin lightening, bleaching, fair white, elegance, all those romantic names. At least if you are able to read, you understand what they mean. For those who understand, who are able to read, they are able to interpret what is inside those chemicals. So after you have done that step of identifying for those who can read, and those who are also getting guidance from friends and neighbors and whatever people who are advising them, should seek advice from the doctor. If they cannot really decide, seek advice from the doctor. Dermatologists are not many, but still they can seek advice from any healthcare provider nearby. Those they can afford at least. So seek for the advice if you are misled by a friend or misled by not know how to read or to interpret those things. Then come the clinical signs. When the clinical signs start to show up on your skin, I will not say every person will get this. It's like any other toxic product in our body. So one individual or majority of them might get different things at different time. So first, if you have able to identify and you don't buy them, it's one way of protecting yourself. Second, if traders also are aware of this is going to kill our population long or short time, and they say, okay, there are other products you can sell. Actually, those bleaching products, the behind idea is to moisten their skin. So amavuta meaning we want to moisten our skin.
Yeah.
We shouldn't look for those things. So there are other alternatives which are safe.
Yeah.
They should sell those one, and still people would buy them.
Right.
The third point, where to get them, pharmacy I think is more safe because they have this duty of also educating. These are health people personnel, so they should also avail things which are safe, more safe. Then side effects, there are so many.
And they're
I
different.
know they are different from one individual to another one.
There's one thing I never do on the show, but exceptionally for you, I'm going to do it because we want to save lives. We know people who have watched us tonight, and they have been part of this skin whitening process, and probably where they are, they're feeling like, I want to actually withdraw. I want to stop this. And as you said correctly, we have very few dermatologists in the country, so I want to give you a chance to look through that camera over there and just give them your address, where they can get you, even if it is privately, secretly, whatever it is, so that they can be able to get these services if they are seeking a chance to actually withdraw. So probably you can look into that camera and talk to them.
Okay,
yes, go ahead.
thank you. Kinyarwanda or in English?
In English and Kinyarwanda you can mix. Yes.
I think most of population, our population, Rwandan population, they know CHUICA, Centre Hospitalier Universitaire de Kigali. There is a service of dermatology. Personally, I work there as a head of service with my colleague, but CHUIB in South Province, there is another dermatologist, and all other 7 are found in Kigali. So when you look for them, you get them for sure. So
any quick number?
Phone number 0788455211.
Again?
0788455211.
Perfect. All right. So, you want to just give your closing remarks, or we'll take that as the closing remark, because I'm going to be told that we're running out of time. Just real quick, on behalf of all of us.
Thank you, Eugene, for this opportunity to speak to public. And for me, I would like to request the traders that they should stop that, because the institution, the government is watching on them, and they are not doing any good to our citizens. They are doing harm. So I would advise just to take a caution on that and be able to let the Rwandan people have safe life.
Have a safe life. Psychologist as well. It's important to also talk to the public. Where can they get you? How can they get assistance if they want to get some guidance and counseling on this?
Basically, I'm director of psychiatric care in the RBC, meaning all the mental health problem. I'm in charge of mental health problem. We have people at all level of health system, from the health center to the referral hospitals. So if someone is having a problem, psychological problem, due to withdrawal syndrome, because they are lacking those projects,
they can reach out to you.
They can reach our service, and there they can have services, people to help them.
Thank you. Philip, in closing, this is a battle for you to win, you insist. Why? Just very quickly and closing remarks.
Why, again, I said government commitment is still there, institutional collaboration is still there as teamwork. So consumers should look out for standards compliance, standards requirements. There are also legal requirements, other legal instruments are there. They should consult the institutions that are here. For those who need any standard, can check, can just call a toll-free number 3250.
3250.
Yes, for guidance.
Right, thank you. So in case they have any tip-offs, they should call 3250. Definitely, this is where we bring down the curtains to today's edition. It's been a sensitive one, of course, but of course, mostly important. And the key numbers that you should be taking, 0788455211. That is for dermatological assistance. And then if you have a tip-off of anybody who's selling these products illegally, 3250. That is 3250. Mirongo tatu na kaviri, mirongo tano. I think that is the number. And of course, we end it at this particular point. We'll continue talking on our social media platforms, #InFocusRW. We'll see you again, same time, same place. As always, I'm Eugene. Anangwe, signing off.